We are. All right. Good evening. Good evening. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you guys are having a good day. Man, I tell you what, it's warm down here today. Felt good though. Felt good. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Remember that. No, no complaints. Um, anyway, before we jump into everything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. Thank you ahead of time for that. If you cannot follow those really simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we are not going to have that. Okay. Uh, I have I got the fan on in the background because it's warm. You guys can hear me okay? I hope. Let's make sure everything is good sound wise, because otherwise I'll have to turn that off and then I'll be sweating. 5x5. Okay, cool. All right. So before we get into anything, I gotta mention this. I gotta mention this, guys. Okay, I'm gonna call out an individual directly. Norman Holland. Ever since we started the bunker build, Norman Holland has been nothing but negative as far as it's going to collapse, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and the whole 9 yards. I just want to be real clear with everybody. Go ahead, keep talking all the stuff you want to talk, and as we do it and we get it going and we get it done, then they're all going to have to shut up. But I do want a retraction. I do expect a retraction at that point. When we get to that point, um, why can't I just ignore them? I can, but I'm calling them out now, and I will tell you why. That's why there's a point to this. Okay, Norman's been around a long time, um, and he has been a very strong proponent of the bunker. Okay, because he can't see it, doesn't get it, whatever the case may be, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, anybody that's been down here, anybody that has been digging in the hole, Angry Prepper's been down in that hole. Anybody that knows what we're digging through, number one, we know that it's not going to collapse. Okay, but here's what I think is what I think is funny. If it was genuinely somebody like concerned, okay, that would be one thing. But it just gets to that point, and it's so irritating. But like I said, the best way to shut people up is to show them, to show them. So we are like when we get together next weekend. We're not getting together this weekend because it's Easter weekend, so we put it off a week. So we're all going to be getting together next weekend. At the end of next weekend, we're going to be down to the 12-foot level. Okay. Oh, I know he was saying something like an inch a day type of nonsense. I've had other things that I've had to do. I have not been able to work on that. Otherwise, it would already be down there to that level. But I've had other things that I've been working on. So, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, people aren't here on an everyday basis. They have no idea. They have no idea what's going on. Just like walking the hill. Okay. When the people that are part of my group came down here and walked that hill for the first time, they were like, holy crap, you don't realize it because you can't tell on camera how truly steep that hill is. And usually when I'm walking up that hill, I'm also talking at the same time. So, it's okay. Um, I find it. I don't know. I don't want to say it's amusing. It's like it's been a constant thing ever since we started showing with the bunker and what we're doing and stuff like that. But like I said, as we do what we're doing, I wonder. Okay, and I truly, this is a question that I have. Fez over in the UK, okay, that he went straight down, probably about the same distance, and then he dug his tunnels and did what he did over there in the UK. I wonder if he got the same stuff, from people. And I'm just going to put this out there too. It took him 3 years, 3 years to do his thing. Okay, um, and that was to go down, dig the tunnel from the from the shed to the bunker. That took him 3 years, and then he turned around and started doing towards the house. So, you know, unless you've been down there and you know what you're dealing with and you put in the hours, you know, into doing it, you have not a clue in the world. And it's very easy. Um, oh, this bunker will take years. And absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all. Um, it'll be years. It will be years. But when I say it'll be years, is because you guys have no idea what I plan on doing under there. And yeah, it's going to take years, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Where am I going? You know, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So, you know, but you know, it'll be interesting in the long run to see, you know, what happens. But I just wanted to touch base on that really quickly. Um, and it's just it's amazing. Oh, and YouTube's back to their games, guys. Oh my God! They gave me like a brief respite, a respite. Now I'm getting subscribers taken away again. It's just, and again, it's not just me. Okay, so I'm not playing a victim. I'm not like, oh, poor me. Not doing that at all. What I'm saying is this is something that they've been doing across the board to people. So, you know, find a gold nugget while you're digging. Well, somebody had asked me the other day, what would you do if you came across like, you know, dinosaur bones or an underground cavern or something like that? I go, I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't tell anybody. No, it's like that would be one thing, you know, that would definitely be the case. But anyway, it's just, you know, what I will suggest to this anybody that, you know, has all the negative thoughts about what we're doing as far as, you know, with the bunker or anything else down here. Um, yeah, JJ, of course he is, because he's a child. He's a child. I'm telling you right now. If he's 16, JJ, I would be surprised. If he's 16, so his parents need to straighten him out. Obviously, they did a crappy job raising him because, you know, he's a very disrespectful child. And that's all. There's nothing you can do about that except blame the parents for raising not a decent individual. But anyway, my thing to anybody that wants to say anything negative about anything that we're doing down here, just keep watching. Just keep watching. I'm calling his mom right now, right? Um, but yeah, just keep watching. You'll see. And that's the thing. You know what? Oh, I'm sorry, you know, that the bunker build didn't happen overnight. Oh my God, you know. Um, yeah, providing he still has parents, if they haven't abandoned him and he's in an institution somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Uh, life is interesting, guys. I'll tell you what. So anyway, we're like not even touched the topic yet. What happens now, right? So we're going to get into that right now. We're at 352 in the chat. We're at 113. Norman is older. Norman is, and you know what? I just, you know, and I'm not trying to hammer on Norman. That's not what I'm trying to do here. And I'm not saying Norman is a troll. That's not what I'm saying either. Because if I felt that he was a troll, he would have been blocked a long time ago. I just think that he is, you know, obviously concerned, doesn't get it, doesn't understand the situation, you know, and that's okay. You know, he doesn't have to. You know, he doesn't have to. But but no, I think Norman is older. So it's, you know, like I said, if I felt like he was a troll, he would be gone. So, but you know, that's not what you know, that's not what he is. I don't think. But Max says counterproductive. Well, it's just you're always going to have, you know, negative Nancy's and whatever. I mean, whatever you're doing, guys. I mean, you look at people, anybody that's had a dream. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's think about it this way. Here is let's go with who's the one that started out of a garage? Was it Microsoft that started out of a garage? I think it might have been Microsoft. They started out of a garage, right? And I'm sure there was plenty of people back then that said, "Oh, that'll never work. Um, that's not going to work. Well, why are you wasting your time, right? Because there's always going to be people." That was Apple? Okay, that was Apple. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I knew it was one of them that started out in a garage. And there was people telling them, "Oh, that'll never work. You're wasting your time. Why don't you go get a real job?" Heard that one plenty as well, right? And those are things that are constant, because those are people that'll never take a chance. See, not like Norman, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to hammer on Norman, but Norman, in my opinion, and just strictly my opinion, from what I've read with his comments in the past and that type of thing, Norman is a guy that has to have a safe little boundary, has to be in a safe area, probably never took a chance in his life with anything, right? Did exactly what he was supposed to do, and never thought outside the box, never did anything outside the box, because, heaven forbid that you take a chance. I'm going to tell you what, if you want to get anywhere, if you want to do anything in life, you better take a chance. You know, if you listen to what everybody else says all the time and never follow your heart, follow your dreams, you're never going to accomplish anything. You're just not going to do it, you know. But, it's like I said, it's Ed Humble Dream Killers, and Insect is more successful than them. Yeah, well, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just the way they are. And why do you think? And let's be honest. Let's look at our society as a whole in general, right? Go along to get along. Not, hey, baby girl, okay? Not making any waves. Not going along. I don't want any problems. I'll do whatever you say. Just don't bother me, right? No, nobody, not a lot of people stand up and go, yeah, no, I don't agree with this, or I'm not doing that. Okay, um, you know. So again, these are things you have. If you want to call them sheep, call them sheep. I don't, you know what I mean. But they're never ever gonna upset the apple cart. They're never going to take a chance in life. They're gonna live their boring life and never do anything and never go anywhere and never take any chances. I've been very, very fortunate. I've been all over this country. All right. Um, you know, been all over this country, been very, very fortunate to have traveled quite a bit. And I've seen so much. I have met some awesome people through the years. This channel has afforded me an opportunity to connect with like-minded people, which has been unbelievably awesome. Again, I've met some fantastic people through this channel. Now, have I met some a-holes as well? Yes, I have. Okay. Um, yeah, talking about gas. Well, so I was out today, and gas down here was sitting at what was it, 345? It was sitting at 345, and now it's 365. So what I did is the gas stations that had already gone up to the 365, I passed all those ones, and I stopped and hit a gas station that was still at 345, and I topped off. What do you think? See, here she is. There's the girl. There's the real YouTube star. I'll tell you what, she knows when I'm getting ready to put that camera on. She gets so excited because, okay, we're gonna go outside. We're gonna make a video. That was rude. Did you excuse yourself? Hmm. Very rude, Helen. So, but anyway, so yeah, but gas is up. Okay. You know what? Not right now, baby. Go on now. Go down now. Good girl. Um, gas was up, like I said, 20 cents a gallon, just like that. And once again, the gas that's in those holding tanks right now, they didn't pay that for that. So, that's just one of the things that, I always talk about. And, you know, maybe it's time for old Joe to open up the taps here. And I want you to think about this, the strategic oil reserve. Let's talk about that a minute. Who's he been selling that to, right? Where's that all that oil gone to? And are they replacing the strategic oil reserves? If you guys remember when Trump tried to fill up the strategic oil reserves at, hey, no. When he tried to fill them up, at 224 a gallon, he was blocked from doing so. They would not let him fill up the strategic oil reserve. So now you've had President Biden selling the strategic oil reserves. Why? And I'm not saying who he sold it to, but people in the comments are saying who he sold it to. Again, I'm not going to be accused of anything. Like I said, it's just I don't want to make waves. Um, but again, it's time for people to wake up. It really, really is. You know, these politicians, and I say that as a blanket, not as that party or that party. These politicians do not have your best interest at heart. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I liked Trump. I'm not going to lie. Now, um, I believe in my heart that Trump had the best interest of the country at heart. Now, at the same time, was Trump trying to make money for himself and his family, like every other politician that was in there? Sure, he was. Right? They all do it. They all do it. So should he be singled out and you're a bad person because whatever they're trying to say? But again, this is what I do remember. We weren't in any new wars with Trump. There was a respect with Trump. Why? Just like with, and I'll go with Ronald Reagan on this one. Okay, I'll go with Ronald Reagan on this one. Just like with Ronald Reagan, they figured he was a loose cannon, and they treaded lightly. How many people do you think are afraid of Biden around the world? I mean, and that's just a question. How many of these other countries go, oh my God, we better be real careful. Biden's in charge. We need to really tread lightly, right? I mean, it's so you need, regardless of what party's in power, regardless of that, we need strong leadership in there. Okay, that's what we need. Yeah, he's like Jimmy Carter. Exactly, Real Freedom. Jimmy Carter was probably one of the nicest human beings out there. Absolutely one of the nicest human beings out there. A terrible leader. He did not have the stomach to do what needed to be done. That's the bottom line. Like I said, I've talked about what I would do. You give them a choice, period. End of story. We're not risking any soldiers' lives. We're not risking any soldiers' lives. You give them a choice. You say, here's your options. Like with that whole thing with the, if you go back into the 70s, when, Iran took all those people hostage, right? All those Americans out of the embassy and had them there for what, how long? Think about how long they had them in there, okay? And then the failed rescue attempt. Again, to me, it would have been very, very simple. I roll up into the harbor with the fleet and say, you have 24 hours to get those people out here to these ships, or we turn you into a parking lot. Period. End of story. And I'm going to tell you what, they would have got those people there that quickly. They would have done it. Because if they didn't, then I would have turned them into a parking lot. Period. End of story. And guess what? Then people would know, don't screw with those guys because they're going to do what they got to do. But that's a whole different thing that's long in the dust. But there needs to be consequences for actions. There really does. And it's just it's like I don't know if you guys have been seeing this, and it's like and I'm like, really? And what is the response? I mean, what is the response? You have China telling us, the United States of America, not to meet with Taiwan's president, for McCarthy not to meet with Taiwan's president. Who is China? Just like when we told China, don't do this or don't do that, and China said, who is the USA? Hey, Karen, there is no peace through strength. This is with this administration, sadly. You are. I don't disagree with that statement. Thank you for that statement. I appreciate that. Okay, but and thank you very much for the donation as well. But yeah, we're in tough times. We are in tough times. There's a lot of stuff going on domestically. With Saudi Arabia doing these surprise cuts. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. You have Saudi Arabia doing these surprise cuts. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! Didn't see this coming." They're doing these surprise cuts. Why do you think that Saudi Arabia did these surprise cuts? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. Is it a retaliation against the United States? That's a question. That's not a statement. I'm just, just spitballing here. Okay. What do we got? 455 in the chat, guys. We're at 174 thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you very much for doing so ahead of time. I do appreciate it. And, I also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notification as well. To give Biden the finger. Well, that's pretty much. I like that statement. you know, we're at that point. I mean, now we got Mexico cozying up with China, asking for China's help. And this is what kills me. Okay, and I want you to think about this too. Mexico is asking China for help to deal with the fentanyl problem. Where's that fentanyl coming from? It's a question, guys. It's a question. I'm not saying where that fentanyl is coming from, but pretty much people have a good idea where that fentanyl is coming from, right? So, yeah, the whole BRICS thing that they are getting together, as an American, if you are an American or, one of America's allies, that should scare the crap out of you. Should scare the crap out of you. It really should. Because if the American dollar is devalued, which we have nothing backing it, I want you to think about something else as well. And see, the thing is, it's like, I don't think people think about this as much as they probably should. For quite a while now, and when I say quite a while, a couple of years, at least a couple of years, China has been stockpiling what? And there's nothing to do with weapons, okay? What has China been stockpiling for several years now? Does anybody know? Because I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, you guys are so smart. Look at you guys. Yeah, gold. They've been stockpiling gold big time because if they do this BRICS thing and they want to have the yuan, or however you say it, be the primary trading thing, is going to be backed by gold. And they have been adding tons and tons of gold. Tons of gold. And so, while our American dollar is backed by what? Nothing. Nothing. So, it has the potential. It has the potential to get really, really ugly. And if that happens, I would absolutely anticipate some kind of military interaction. Because why? Why? Why do you think that would be? Why do you think we would have a military interaction? And again, this is all just spitballing. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just looking at from the perspective of the world superpower right now, which is still the United States of America. Okay? Why would you do that? Couple reasons. There's a couple reasons why you would do that. You would do it because you can't have somebody else become the dominant superpower and have them have their currency be the number one currency. You cannot, as the number one guy, allow it. You just can't. So that will absolutely lead to conflict. Absolutely will lead to conflict. It's just, I don't think people really realize how fragile our JJ, 65% of our current military are unfit soldiers. I don't know about that. I don't know if that, I haven't seen that, JJ. So I can't agree or disagree on that. I have no idea. But yeah, Nixon took us off the gold standard. I think that was in 74, I believe. Yep. And so, yeah, we're, like I said, 71. Okay. Thank you, guys. I knew it was in the 70s. I knew it was in the 70s. But Nixon was a Democrat. Imagine that. Well, we're in big trouble. Our country is in big trouble. It really truly is, and you should be very, very concerned. What can we do about that? Not much. As individuals, not much we can do. And all we can do is control what we can control. That's it. Okay. So if that is building a bunker, building up, making greenhouses, trying to be as self sufficient as you could, learn as much as you possibly can, as far as you know getting things together. Those are important things. Putting yourself in the best situation to be able to survive what is coming. Because I don't believe that it's going to be pleasant. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I think people are going to really realize quite quickly how deeply we're screwed. When you have us go from oil independent, which we were, and an exporter, right? So, and that obviously has changed, so just like I said, guys, do what you can. I mean, I know I'm beating a dead horse there. I've talked about this a million times, and I've said it over and over and over again. We need to be as ready as we can be, because at some point, that other shoe's going to drop. And it ain't. It's like I said, it ain't going to be pretty. And they're normalizing. Let's put it like this. So I did that video the other day, and I talked about how we're being watched already, right? Like I talked about, like the phone, right? The phone. Once a month I get an update. Um, Once a month I get an update, and it says, for the month of January, this is how many miles you drove. This is where you went. These are your highlights of the month. Um, you know, because I have the phone, and I take the phone with me wherever I go, like most people do. But it is, there's been. Ed, are you going to build your house eventually, Karen? Eventually, I do plan on building a house. Yes. There's other things right now that are a little bit higher on the priority list. If I had to, Karen, I would spend another winter in a camper. I hope not. I'll put it like that. But if I had to, I would. I definitely would like to, get something going. But, like I said, right now there's other priorities that need to be taken care of, that need the attention first, so. But yeah, so, like I said, it's just put yourself in positions, guys, to be able to do what you need to do. Put yourself in positions to do what you need to do. Troll's trying to get in here a lot tonight, JJ. I do not have a sawmill. No, I do not have a sawmill. I got him. Okay. I'm sure you do. Um, but yeah, no, it's I have I definitely have plenty of chains. I have a couple chainsaws. I got extra bars, plenty of bar and chain oil, plenty of gasoline. So again, and I've talked about this, guys, and I want you to really think about it. Okay, really, really think about it. When you look at a true SHTF situation, what are the priorities going to be? And realistically, priorities are going to be building. Building things, preparing for winter, getting yourself in the best possible situation to be able to handle those, the winter months. And, do you have a wood stove? Do you have metal piping? Do you have, those type of things to be able to, because a wood stove can be utilized for cooking, right? Because you're not going to be using anything else other than fire for cooking. So if you have a wood stove, indoor or outdoor, that you can utilize for cooking, that's a good thing. And so it's just, again, it's putting yourself in that situation to be able to handle whatever comes up. So. And what about extra stovepipe? I think it's a good thing to have, Delbert. Extra caps, extra elbows, and all those type of things. Yes, I think that it is a really, really good thing to have. I know I've been well, and like right now it's out of season, right? So you can't go to Lowe's and they have the whole wood stove section ready to go right at the moment because it's just that's not the time of year. So they're pushing all their spring stuff and summer stuff now. Yeah, flea markets are a good way, and like I said, and you can actually, if you go to some of the mom and pop uh, stores that have the different stuff that you need, like the hardware stores and stuff like that, they'll probably have some piping and stuff like that that you could definitely pick up. But I think that that is really important to have. I have tried to, even though I don't have, a house built yet, I've been put some stuff together. Um, trying to put some stuff together to be ready when I am ready, if that makes sense. So, I have wood stoves here, right? So I have one wood stove sitting right behind the camper. It's been covered up. It's been here for God 2 years now, I think. And when that time comes, that will be utilized. That will be utilized. Ed, I entered what I ate today with my new fitness app, and it sent an ambulance to my house. Oh my God, that's too funny. That is too funny. Uh, But anyway, what do we got here? We got 524 in the chat, guys. We're at 244 and a thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for that. Again, it really makes a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Again, like I said, YouTube is playing a tremendous amount of games. And that's been going on for a while. So it's nothing new. And they're doing it across the board. So it's not like I'm going, oh, poor me, I'm a victim. It's they're doing it to everybody, but it still sucks. It's not fun, you know what I mean? But Ed, do you think they will try to replace cash with a digital dollar? I think ultimately, um, so I got to be careful how I answer that. Uh, let's put it. I'll put it this way, Frank. I'll put it this way: if a digital dollar was introduced and cash was removed, there would be a lot more control by the government agencies. And what does the government agencies like? Right? What do they like to do? They like to control things. They feel like they're being, they feel like they're being, they're missing out on taxes because maybe people are doing stuff on the side or under the table or whatever the case may be. And if you had a digital dollar, okay, you could control that situation. Also, if it got to a point where there was, like right now in China, they have a social credit score, right? I think you guys already know that they have a social credit score in China. So if you are in good standing with the social credit score, you can go anywhere you want in China. But you better be toed in the party line and doing as you're told and not causing any issues. Anybody over there that's causing problems, they're restricted on their movement of where they can go, what they can spend, and all those type of things. So, if you would like to have your government have that kind of control over you, then you would probably be like, yes, let's do this. But if you like freedom and you like to be able to decide where you want to spend your money, and not have anybody able to be able to trace where you're spending your money, then you would probably be against it. That's just my take, But what do I know? Who am I, right? Just buy all the weapons and ammo you want now, Don Hill said. Yeah, but again, if you're going to have to practice, Don. You got to practice. If you're not putting rounds down range, uh, it's not. It's useless. You have to know what you're doing. I'm going to tell you one of the drills. I'll give you an example. One of the drills that I actually practice is, I mean, you guys see me when I walk around here and I have a pistol on my hip, right? I mean, I live in the woods. There's a lot of predators out here. It's the main reason why I do that. And I want to make sure that I'm able to not only protect myself, but my dog. But if something comes out of those woods with bad intentions, I want to be able to take care of business. Well, one of the things that I've been doing, practicing wise, is getting the pistol out of the holster and getting into a stance, right? and getting into a proper stance where the thumb, right, your one thumb is not behind the slide. Anybody that is shot a pistol, uh, you probably maybe done it once, had your one thumb behind the slide, and guess what happens when you have that thumb behind the slide? When it discharges, it's going to take some skin off of that. Okay, it's going to take some skin off of that. So if you have your grip, right, you have your grip, and you have thumb over thumb like that on the side, then your thumb is out of the way. So it is. I have never done that EV3DL. Well, I'll tell you what, I have. I have done that, and it hurts, and it's not fun, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So, um, and again, here's what's important: muscle memory. Okay, muscle memory, because you may never have to, and there's police officers that have been on the force for 15, 20 years that have never had to discharge their weapon in the line of duty. Okay, never had to discharge their weapon in the line of duty, but they have to qualify every year. They do probably spend time at the range and stuff like that, and they practice. The reason that you practice is because once you practice, it becomes ingrained into your memory. Okay, it becomes ingrained in your memory, and it's automatic. So if you're practicing, pulling out, getting in your stance, getting, and doing that, it really, really makes a big, big difference. Yes, I agree, Ed. You must practice. Does cost rounds for money, but you must. Exactly. If you're not putting rounds down range, then you are not going to be ready. Yeah, awesome. I'm a size 9 millimeter. Yeah, but somebody was saying they like the revolvers better. Well, that's cool. With your 6 shots with your revolver, I'll take my 17 round magazine and one in the chamber. I'll take that. That's just that's just me. But it's just again, you know what I mean. You have to pay attention. You have to practice. You have to be being ready. And I think some people have this misconception of being ready is band-aids, beans, and bullets, right? They get food, they get they get that stocked up big. They get some medical supplies, probably never enough. You can never have too many medical supplies, in my opinion. That's just me. All right. And then they load up primarily with guns and ammo, and that's the primary thing in the mindset of a lot of people. I got to have a lot of guns. I got to have a lot of ammo. Well, here's a fact. Okay, here's a fact. I'll just give you a fact. When SHTF happens, guess how many of those guns you're going to be able to shoot at one time accurately? Now, you might be able to shoot two at the same time, but you're probably not going to be as accurate. Okay. Most likely, you're going to be using one at a time. If you're using a rifle, you're probably using one at a time. All right. So if you have 20 guns and a couple 100,000 rounds of ammunition, and there are people out there that have that much. Okay. Again, when the time comes, you're going to be able to use one at a time. Now, I like having a diverse amount of options. I like that. But at the same time, that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. Tim says 4 guns: pistol, shotgun, hunting rifle, self-defense. And I would add into that a 22 as well. I think everybody should have a shotgun. I think everybody should have a 22 long rifle. Okay. I think everybody needs to have a regular rifle, be it whatever your flavor is, 223, 762, whatever you like. Everybody has their own preference as far as that goes. Okay. I think everybody, should also, what we were saying, a pistol. I think you definitely need to have a pistol as well. And that's just my opinion. Because if you have a rifle, you should have, after a true SHTF event, there's 2 weapons you should be carrying at all times. You should have a pistol on you, and you should have your rifle with you at all times. Now, as far as getting crossbows and all that other stuff, I do believe that they're good things to have as well, because eventually, the reality is eventually, uh, you know, down the road at some point, you're going to run out of ammunition. Depending on how much you've prepped, what you have, at some point, you definitely will run out of ammunition. Okay. But again, getting off kind of topic here a little bit, there's way more to it than just that. Um, Knowing first aid, knowing how to do basic first aid, I think is important. Knowing your wild edibles, knowing your wild medicinal plants. Those are things that can really make a difference if you make it or not. Knowing how to build a shelter in the woods that you could sleep in to be out of the weather, whatever the case may be. You get separated from your group for whatever reasons. You have to run. You know, you better know what you're doing. You better have some kind of skills. You better have some kind of skills because if you don't, you ain't gonna make it long in the woods, folks. The number of people that say, and I love this mentality. Oh, when SHTF happens, I'll just go off into the woods with my family and we'll survive off the land. Well, good luck with that. And I really do mean that because you're going to need it. Unless you have like killer skills, like some of these guys on YouTube, that have been out there in the bush and doing it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not that easy. Exactly, Tim. It's not that easy. So to me, it's more important to have a ground zero, if you will, someplace off the beaten path where you can build it up, get yourself squared away. Again, getting like-minded people with you, working with you, and people coming together. But in an SHTF, the number one skill that you're going to need to have, and I've talked about this. Okay, let me. I'm going to ask. What's the number one skill that you need to have after SHTF? And I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to see what you guys say. I'm going to see what you in the comments, please. What's the number one skill you need to have in after SHTF? You guys are being too basic, but not terrible answers. Not terrible answers. Okie Forge. Thank you, Okie Forge. That's actually the one I was looking for. Gardening. Gardening. You better be able to grow food because if you don't know how to, yeah, well, your brain, Janet, that's actually a great answer as well. Your brain is going to be your number one aspect of being able to survive. You need to know. Let's put it like this. You better know how to make a fire now. You better know how to purify water now. You better know those type of things. But the number one thing that you're going to need after an SHTF is to be able to grow your own crops because long-term survival is going to be dependent on harvesting, what you're harvesting, preparing for winter. Because here's the reality of SHTF, okay? It may not happen on a Sunday when it's 75 degrees and sunny out and you go, oh, wonderful, this is great. SHTF could happen in the middle of winter, in the middle of February, and it is, 15 degrees outside with a wind chill factor in the negative numbers, right? A foot of snow on the ground. And then this next storm comes rolling in. Well, guess what? Nobody's digging you out at that point. SHTF happens. Nobody's digging anybody out. And I talked about this a little bit, okay? Your key to survival is what you've done, your planning, what you've accomplished and squared away ahead of time. I want you to think about it from this perspective, okay? Think about it from this perspective. If you were stuck in your house right now and couldn't get out, couldn't leave your house, okay, or your yard, let's say your house and your yard, your property that you have, couldn't leave for a year, okay? How ready are you for that? If you were stuck in your immediate area, you can't get out, you can't go someplace else, there's no way to migrate elsewhere. Are you going to be okay? Okay. Now, some of us are going to be okay because we planned, we thought, we said, okay, I'm going to need this, 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 and this. Now, will even those of us that are prepared, will we run out of things? Yes, we will. Okay. Now, I was looking at one of the comments here. We're going to do egg count here in just a second, guys. The number one plant the number one plant you should be growing. I'm going to ask that really quickly. Number one plant that you should be growing in your garden. Okay, what is the number one plant you should be growing? Potatoes. It's exactly right. That is exactly the right answer. Potatoes. Because why potatoes? Because you can live on just potatoes alone if you had to. Now, there's a lot of different things you can do with potatoes, so you don't have to have the same type of potato every day, but there's a lot of options. Potatoes are huge. You can survive just eating potatoes. So remember that. Now, I honestly, I love potatoes. Love French fries, mashed potatoes, all that type of stuff. Love all that stuff. But I'm looking at having diverse other things to go along with my potatoes. But you definitely, that's going to be your number one thing you want to grow is going to be potatoes. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see, what do you get? 539 in the chat. We're at 290 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel again. And I thank you ahead of time. Also, it makes a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe as well. Make sure that you hit that all button to get all notifications as well. All right. Okay. No, we're not doing that yet. I think I'm going to do that. I have to sit down and I'm going to be doing the giveaway for the book, the silver book. I am going to be doing that, JJ. But I think we're going to start. I think I'm going to start that on Sunday. We'll do that with Sunday stream, just because I think that would be a better thing to do. So, Ed, what was your favorite meal at the Chow Hall in the Army? Just the food in general, neighbor Bob. Just the food in general. You were so hungry by that point in time, it was crazy. All right, egg count. I'm starting to look now. Yes or no for thick neck, and how many eggs today? So I'll give you guys, go ahead and get your guesses up there. Give you a minute to put your guesses up, and we will go from there. It's very warm in here. I got the lights on, and it's like I'm actually sweating just sitting here. Give you guys just one more minute to get your guesses, and we will go from there. All right. If you had the same exact guess as Angela Fleming, if you had the same guess as Angela Fleming with 8 eggs today and no for Miss Thick Neck, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Angela Fleming. Good guess. And but yeah, and the funny thing was, like yesterday, I think yesterday when we didn't do an egg count, they only had 4 eggs yesterday, and Thick Neck was one of those 4 eggs yesterday. But they've been laying pretty decently. They have absolutely been laying pretty decently. But so a lot of people early had 8 eggs and yes for Thick Neck. Angela Fleming was the first one that said 8 eggs and no. So as I went back and looked, I make sure. So all right, guys. So again, you know, preparing, being ready. There is a lot to it. Location is going to be huge. Where you're located in the country. I want you to think about this. Wherever you are right now in the country, East Coast, West Coast, overseas somewhere, wherever you are, whatever part of the world or the part of the country that you're in, are you in an area that you could survive without having, water brought in, without, would you be able to grow crops where you're at? Would you be able to be self-sustaining if you had to? Are you in an area where you're able to protect what you have? Are you in a metropolis? Are you in suburbia? Those are definitely danger zones. They're danger zones, And so I used to love when people would say to me, like when I had the other place in New York, and they would be like, "Oh, well, you're up in the mountains hiding, waiting for the end of the world to happen." and that was like the furthest thing from it. I was still living my life, you know. Tractor Supply is saying not to buy chicks for Easter presents. Who would buy them for Easter presents? You know, but yeah, you know, it's you have to look at your situation. Can you survive there? What are the threats? What's near you? What could be dangerous to you? Um, yeah, I'd be surprised. I probably wouldn't be done with people. Yeah, yeah, I shouldn't be surprised actually, but again, look at your location where you're at. Is it a good location or is it not a good location? If you are not in a good location, like if you, let's be realistic. If you live in the Arizona desert, okay, and you are not prepared to store water like during monsoon season, right? You haven't thought ahead. You haven't planned ahead. You don't have any huge water reserves. Maybe you have your water trucked in. All right. That is not a good spot to be in an SHTF situation because you're going to run out of water. And then where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? If you don't have the water to travel to a new location, and where's that location going to be? Those are things that people need to think about. Now, people can survive in the desert. I'm not saying that they can't, but you need to really, truly be on top of your stuff. You really need to be. Oh, I hear the raindrops coming. Yep, I hear the raindrops coming. Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure I got my one bucket where it needs to be. Hold on. Stay. Stay in there. Stay in there. Sorry, I just had to check. I got one of my buckets that I used to catch rainwater. Earlier today, the wind had blown it away because it was empty. So I want to make sure it's where it's in it. It's good, and so it is. This is just starting to rain out here, but yes, I purify the rainwater for drinking, Rhonda. Any water that I collect here, primarily the water that I collect here, I use for washing dishes, bathing, that type of stuff. And, but as far as anything that I'm going to drink or cook with, it gets filtered through the Berkey first. It gets filtered that way. Yeah, I'm pretty, I guess, if you want to call it primitive of what I'm doing right now. But I'm okay. See, the weird part, here's the weird part. Um, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. So, but yeah, it's just you just got to utilize what you have. So again, when I tell people the only difference between SHTF for me right now and when SHTF happens, when SHTF happens, I won't be leaving the property. And I won't be able to get on the internet or use a phone anymore because that would probably be gone. So other than that, not much would change. You know what I mean? So it just priorities would change. There would be a lot more stuff to do. You know, do deer a favor, put a coyote down today. Oh yeah, coyotes are. Yeah, well, I think there's like an open season on coyotes. So yeah, but that's we have coyotes in this area too. I've heard them way off. So but I have wolves, mountain lions, and bears, but no feral. What state is that all in? Well, like I said, we have like I said, we have. I know we have coyotes here. We have black bear and other predators out there as well. So Susie Q said people would love to change places with you, Ed. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what it it's funny that you say that, and I don't disagree that people would like that or they have this fantasy of what it is. But the reality is, when you do it, and I want you, and I'm going to go by statistics, okay, just strictly by statistics. if 100 people go off grid tomorrow, right? They're going to go, I'm going to go off grid. I'm going to live this lifestyle. This is what I want to do. Within 1 year, within 1 year, 50% of them will be back on grid because they can't do it. They can't do it. They don't have um, what it takes. And I'm not saying that belittling, and I'm not saying, oh, look at me, I'm so wonderful because I've been off grid for 9 years. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's not what they thought, not what they expected. It's tough. It's not easy. Um, when you have to get your wood every year, either you cut it or you buy it or whatever way you're doing it. So let's say you're having wood delivered, right? So the wood gets delivered. Now you got to get it all stacked in a woodshed. And then when winter comes, you got to go out to the woodshed, bring your wood in all winter. You got to make sure that your pipes are clean. You have to, stay on top of all those type of things as well. Oh, I do have actually something. Um, yes, I do plan on getting Troy. I do plan on getting hogs down the road. I definitely do plan on doing that. Once we get more organized with things down here, and if once I have an underground freezer, I definitely want hogs because I want to be able to butcher them and then keep them in the freezer that way. So, but it's that's but there's a lot to this lifestyle that is not for everybody. Okay, it's just not for everybody. But here's the reality: when SHTF happens, you're gonna all find out. You're all gonna find out. So, but yeah, it will definitely be a wake up call for a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you, it's like with talking with my group down here. And I've said, when you guys come down, you need to stay on site. Because you got to be able to learn how to survive, regardless of what season it is, regardless of what the weather's doing. Because when SHTF happens, there's no hotels to go off to anymore. There's none of that stuff is going to happen anymore. So, you need to be able to put yourself in a situation, might be uncomfortable, but like, okay, so what we're doing here, okay, and I'm gonna use a pavilion as a great example. So this whole winter, we've been working on this pavilion, and the weather has not cooperated. It has been tough. It has not been easy, but once we get the pavilion up and we have the floor in the pavilion and we have the wood stove in the pavilion and we have the roof on the pavilion, which should happen this next weekend, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. We should have the roof on the pavilion after this weekend, coming up next weekend. Once that's squared away, then we're going to have a place, regardless of what the weather's doing, where we can go into. We're going to be able to cook. We're going to have a wood stove in there. We're going to be able to stay warmer. And it makes that transition easier. So everything that you're doing to make your situation better, you're also making it an easier transition for when SHTF truly does happen. And that's the key that you're trying to do. So, once we get that squared away and that's up and that's done, it's going to make everything better, regardless of what time of season or what time of year it is. Because let's say everybody comes down in June and it's raining like cats and dogs, right? Raining like crazy. And you're like, oh my God, here we go again. But now we can go into the pavilion. We're going to be able to cook out of the weather. We're going to be able to, enjoy each other's company and all that type of stuff. So it really does make a huge difference. But again, you have to plan. You have to plan what's important. What are the priorities? Now, obviously, one of the huge priorities down here has been that are you going to be able to add more solar on the pavilion? It wouldn't be on the pavilion, Ricardo. And as far as any lights that we would need, I would just probably at this point run an extension cord, to be honest with you, over there. That's what I would do for right now, just for the lights, because we're going to have the stove out there. So there's our cooking. We don't need that type of power. So it would just basically be for lights and stuff like that. But the pavilion is 12 by 24 with 3 foot overhangs. So it's like I said, it's going to be a huge, psychologically huge thing once we have that done. And a lot of people have worked very hard with that pavilion. And it's not been an easy chore. And everybody has contributed. Everybody in the group has contributed, and so again, it gives us a starting point. Uh, you know, will you be adding more solar panels, and will it be on top of the pavilion? No, never be on top of the pavilion. You don't want to have solar panels where you can't reach them to clean them off. With adding more solar panels, that is down the road. Yes, I do want to add more solar panels, but I need right now what I would need um, more batteries. Is But batteries would be another. If I added 6 more panels, the system that I have could handle 6 more panels, and that's 360-watt panels. Okay, so and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do shout outs here in just a second, but they could easily handle 6 more panels, but I need to make sure, like this time of year, I'm good to go. I don't need the extra solar right now. I don't. I got more than enough. I'll probably be good until November. It's when November comes is when I need more power coming in, and and stuff like that. So that would be the number one thing, is more solar panels first come the end of the year. Getting another array set up, and and then that would hopefully keep the batteries in better shape than the ones that I have. Down the road, as we continue to expand and grow, there'll be a lot more solar. There'll be a lot more batteries. So, all right, let's. I know I'm like way behind something new, right? So again, we at 464 in the chat. We're at 347 on the thumbs up, guys. So again, real quick, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you very much ahead of time. I do appreciate that. Also, it makes a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Uh, Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so first of all, we got Icky Can up in Canada. There is Angry Prepper down in New York City. That's Jason. You have Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy up in Alaska. There is Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, 2 different channels, same guy, building up in Canada and showing you how it's done. Really good. You have Demcad. And there's something I'm gonna talk to you guys about too. The beard is looking great. Well, thank you. Yeah. See, there's still black in there. Still a lot of black in there. We have Demcad. There is Corporal's Corner. Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There is Bizarrizza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. Really good series if you want to listen to that. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast in Seattle. Definitely check them out as well. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wrangle Star, and that is Cody, real good guy out there, and he does a lot of good information on his channel. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There is Survival Lily. Excuse me. You have Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota doing their thing up there. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Husband-wife team, 2 different channels, a lot of great information. They split their time between Michigan and Alaska. You have Green Greg's. A lot of gardening information there, so definitely check out Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1, who does the Boots on the Ground series, a really good series. So I would encourage you to check that out as well. You have the Gray Man Prepping. There is St. Bernard Acres with Joe. You have Doug and Stacy. They've been around a long time. A lot of great information in that as well. Let's see. We have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. A nice young couple down there. You have the Green Dream Project. They are out in Arizona in the desert, showing you how to do it out there. Really cool. Camping with Steve Wallace, doing his stealth camping. There is Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works. There is the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. You have Boss of the Swamp, also been around a long time. Real good channel there as well. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. There is Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. You have City Prepper. There is Lumina Acres, Suspicious Observer. There is Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. There is Mary Greeley News. She does all the information with the earthquakes. Anything you want to know about Yellowstone, she has that information. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. There is Ice Age Farmer. Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall Y'all is, if you're going to get your weather, that's the guy to get your weather from. Uh, Also, there is Russell Brand. Russell Brand gives you the information. He lets you decide what you want to do with it. I like Russell Brand. I think he's got a good channel. Deep South Homestead, another really good channel. You have The Outsider. There's The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. You have The Prepared Mind. There is Pinball Preparedness, who does all the good stuff out of Tennessee. East Tennessee Preparedness. There is the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. A lot of great channels out there, a lot of good information. I think we should be supporting each other. I think it's important that we do so. And so I definitely, go check those guys out. Go check those guys out. But anyway, somebody was Veterinary Secrets, excellent info on fur babies care. That's cool. That's good, Sissy. Yeah, there's a lot of great channels out there, guys. There's a lot of great information out there. So, a lot of great information. Got my handheld ham radios today. Exciting. Good, Don. That's awesome. And hopefully you have the manual to goes with it that shows you how to prepare to get your license. Doesn't necessarily have to mean you get your license, but if you know how to handle and operate that device, I think is a really good thing to know. So in case you ever have to, if it is a worst case scenario and you decide you want to use that, then you already have that. Like I said, again, guys, and that's another thing that we didn't talk about earlier that is also very important. Communications in a post SHTF event, having a CB ham radio or a CB radio, about a 15-mile range, right? 15-mile range. You can listen to the chatter that's going on the CBs. A lot of information with the truckers that way. All right. Having walkie-talkies, being able to communicate with your group members if people are on patrol or if they're on watch, checking in on a regular basis, making sure that they're safe and that they're okay. That's important as well. Also, ham radios, be able to find out what's going on around the world. I think the biggest thing people are going to be starved for in a post event is information. Information is going to be the biggest thing. People are going to want to know what's going on because there's no more news channels to turn on. So that's going to be hugely important, to be able to find out what's going on, because otherwise you're in your little bubble and you have no idea what's going on around the world and out there. So I think it's really, really important, to have several different ways to be able to communicate. Now, I would suggest this, and this is just my advice to you. You can do whatever you want to do. In a post event, you need to do a lot more listening on your ham radios than trying to get on there and talk with people. I don't have any intention of getting on there and talking to anybody because your location can be triangulated and they can find out where you are. Okay. So, but if you're using it to listen, to find out what's going on out there in the world, that's a good thing. All right. You don't have to be talking to anybody because some of those people out there are not going to be truly honest with you. They're looking to, they may say, oh, hey, we need help. We do plan on building a base station. Yes, Old Mutt. That is in the works as well down the road here. We definitely want to do that as well. Get an antenna up a tree, and be able to get a repeater. Yep. And would you be able to give away your location without a repeater? They can still triangulate where you are by your signal. So, that's what you need to understand. Okay. So That's if you are communicating. All right. That's if you're communicating. If you are on there just listening, if you're on there just listening, they're not going to be able to find out where you are. And there's going to be people out there that are going to say, "Hey, you know what? We're a good group and we're trying to help people. Where are you guys at? We'll come and we'll help you." And they could just be somebody looking to take your stuff. So again, you know, yeah, only if you're broadcasting. Exactly. Okie Ford just said, yeah, that's the only way they're going to be able to find you. Only if you're broadcasting. Yeah, even without having a ham operator's license, you can listen. You know, you can listen. Sounds like The Walking Dead. Walking Dead is a nice show, and some things are unrealistic, but it gives a really good idea of human nature and how people would be. If you think everybody's going to be hugging each other and singing "Kumbaya" around the fire after an SHTF event, you're going to be sadly mistaken, and you're going to find out pretty quickly the evil of people. You know, and like I said, again, to me, I I want to keep my group safe. I want us all to be safe and take care of our business, mind our own, try to keep to ourselves as much as we possibly can, and that's the game plan. Um, it, what you have to understand again, if you survive the first winter, and we'll go with the first winter. We don't even have to go for a first year. We don't have to go for a first year. We'll go for the first winter. If you survive the first winter of a true SHTF event, then you are going to be in a lot better shape because there's going to be a whole lot less people out there. A whole lot less people out there. So that is something that you need to think about. You know, that's the code, that's the key. That's why we do what we do. We do what we do to get through that first winter. That's what prepping is about. That's what having supplies. I mean, I love when people say, well, you're going to eat through your preps. Well, that's the idea. That's the idea. You're using that as a bridge to get you through till you can start gathering wild edibles, growing food, and all those type of things. And and even if it is wintertime, you know, if there's anything left to hunt in the woods, you know, that's what you would try to be supplementing things with as well. And that's why it's a good idea also to have animals if you can have them, you know. Ed, who are going to bury the dead? The dead won't be buried. The dead would be burned. We're not burying people. The dead would be burned. So yeah, or they would be left out to rot as a message to other people. So take that for what you will. So, but yeah, it's just there's a lot to it. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and do what are we at 374. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can hit 400 thumbs up. Um, if you have not shot one yet, let's do that real quick to show support. Let's see if we can hit 400 thumbs up before we jump off of here. And again, I do appreciate that ahead of time, and it does really help with you know, the algorithms as well. Although the old thought is the buzzard's got to eat same as the worms, folks. So, but anyway, we are Legion because we are many. We are all over the world. We are all over the country. Where is everybody from tonight? We have Tucson, Arizona with Angela, Melbourne, Australia with Philip in the house. Good day, Philip. BC, Canada with Janet, Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge, New Mexico with Nate, Northern Hollywood, California, Ulster Park, New York. We have West Coast of Florida, Dayton, Ohio, Illinois, Southeast Michigan with Jane, St. Augustine, Florida, Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert. We have Emil in BC, Canada, Joan in Leesburg, Florida. I just hold on. I want to. I saw the UK come through there. Hold on a second. Go back up. Bath, England, in the UK. Very nice. Glad to have you in the house. East Tennessee, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Eastern Kentucky, Apache Junction, Arizona with Shirley, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. We have Morgan County, Ohio, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania with Melissa, Cleveland, Ohio, upstate New York with Nina. We have North Huntington, Pennsylvania, Pipestem, West Virginia with Troy. We have Hamilton, Montana with Chris, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy, Waterloo, New York with Sharon. Let's see, Central BC, Canada with Gypsy Mama Prepper. There is the UP of Michigan with Dawn, Scott County, Virginia, Western New York with Karen, Alberta, Canada, Central New York. We have Michigan in the house, Black Mountain, North Carolina, East Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains, West Central Ohio with Dale, Trent, Florida. So we have North Carolina with R.E. Gold, Vancouver Island in Canada with Prep Rebel, Gaston County, North Carolina with Tuck, Southern Martinsville, Indiana. Chris, hey Chris, how you doing, man? I know who you are. Oregon with Kathy. We have Central Iowa with Robert, South Central Arkansas with Richard. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge, huge network of people. We are the ones that are awake. We are the ones that have been prepping, getting ready. And like I said, there is so much to it, and it's just going to take time. It's just going to take time. Just do what you can. If you are working at it slowly and methodically, you know what? That is better than doing nothing. It's better than doing nothing, and that's important. So don't ever, you know, get depressed about it and go, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. You're doing more than most people. Slow and steady wins the race. Like what we're doing down here, guys, we're going to do what we can do until it's time to do what we have to do. And so in the meantime, month to month, we will get together, we will work on things, we will get things going. And when the time comes, we will do what we have to. That's part of it. That's what you have to do, and we just don't know. Ed, do you drink instant coffee? Yes, I do. I'm going to tell you what, freeze dried coffee, right? That's what you got back here. That's freeze dried coffee. Freeze dried coffee. Um, yeah, man, give me a holler if you want. Prepper Zipper. Um, Freeze dried coffee, 20-year shelf life, folks. 20-year shelf life, even if it's open. So that to me is way better than going ahead and buying regular coffee that does not have that kind of shelf life. If you have the freeze dried coffee, and I do have quite a bit of freeze dried coffee, again, a very, very bartable item in a post event. A year, so let's say we're a year into SHTF. You think we're getting coffee anywhere? You think coffee's coming up from Mexico, from Central America, that we're getting it up here anywhere in the States? Probably not. Okay. So if I have coffee, and even if it's freeze dried coffee, that's a very, very bartable item. People are going to want that. So that's just, another, like I said, again, I try to, think outside the box. I try to think about what would work, what would I want, and having a cup of coffee is a good thing, I think. So coffee is already starting to get hard to get here. Wow. Okay. Well, get your freeze dried, guys. Get that freeze dried coffee. 20-year shelf life. Hey, Prep Rebel, for your instant coffee fund. Well, thank you, man. I really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Very nice donation. Thank you. Old Mutt, 3 years worth of Folgers bricks. Oh yeah, like I said, again, when it comes to prepping, it is huge what you need. And I try to think, you know, outside outside the box as much as I can to wants and needs. Needs are important. You got to take care of your needs first, but the wants, I want things to be as normal as I possibly can have them be after an event. And the more I can keep it normal, the better it's going to be for morale. The better is it's going to be for everything. I have a lot of tea as well. Yep, Carol or Carl. I have a lot of tea as well. I like tea. So that's also something that would be very, very important afterwards. So anyway, guys, um, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely awesome job keeping the chat clean. They've been busy lately. The trolls have been coming back. Imagine that. Uh, they're devoted. They are devoted. I'll give them that. But anyway, they do a fantastic job. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who moderate for me. It does mean a lot to me. I want to thank all you guys for being here and being part of what we're doing here and showing you how we do things. I mean, I know some of the videos, like today's video, wasn't exciting, wasn't an exciting video, but prepping the beehive for the bees is important. Getting it ready, doing those things are important. So, that's that's the important thing. You know, also, guys, remember we are all in this together. We truly are. We are one race called the human race. It is really, really important that we come together, that we work together, that we stop letting them divide us, keep fighting over nonsensical things that don't matter. We have to come together. If we don't ever come together, we're screwed. We really, truly are. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, the only person that is going to stop you from reaching your goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. If you stay positive and stay away from the negativity, you're going to be just fine. Um, Shoot me an email then. Yep, email me. Yep, that'll work. Um, again, like I say, the only one stopping you is you. Set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, and you're going to be just fine. Okay. I will see you all later. I hope everybody has a great day. Have a good week. Be safe. Take care of control what you can control. Do not live in fear. Fear is the enemy. Okay. It's okay to be afraid. It is okay to be afraid, but don't live in fear. You know, do what you need to do. Are you going to visit New York? I will be back in New York at some point. Yes. I got to go get my Harley. To be honest with you, Hope. I saw people out riding today, and I was like, man, I got to get my Harley. So, um, yeah. So, anyway, guys, be safe. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.